There's a strange whisper in the air, subtle, nearly imperceptible. You may feel it after leaving a conversation that drained you for no apparent reason. You may sense it in a crowded room where your mood shifts for no cause you can name. Or perhaps it lingers after scrolling social media, where unseen tendrils of fear and comparison wind their way into your chest. What if I told you that much of this is not yours to carry? That some of the storms inside you are not storms at all, but the residue of others' chaos brushing against your aura. This is not merely poetic reflection, it is the hidden architecture of energetic reality. And this, dear seeker, is why we must shield our energy. You've arrived at a sacred threshold, one where the visible and invisible worlds begin to blur. In today's exploration, we'll dive deeply into how affirmations, yes, simple words spoken with intention, act not just as hopeful mantras, but as cosmic armor against negativity. Stay with me through the end of this video, for what you'll uncover may fundamentally shift how you walk through the world. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to this channel. What we share here is not just content, it is a call to remembrance, a return to your inner sanctuary. And we begin now. Let us step into this topic not as intellectual tourists, but as soul archaeologists, brushing away layers of the known world to expose the power hidden beneath. The idea of shielding your energy may sound new age or ethereal, but it is as ancient as fire, as grounded as the earth beneath your feet. Every culture has known this in some form. The evil eye in Mediterranean lands, smudging rituals of indigenous peoples, spiritual baths in the African diaspora. All spoke to the reality that we are porous beings in a world vibrating with unseen currents. We absorb, we reflect, and if we do not consciously choose our filters, we become living sponges, soaking up every chaotic fragment hurled into the atmosphere. Affirmations, when understood correctly, are not surface-level wishful thinking. They are incantations that reorganize your inner frequency. They are linguistic mirrors that remind your cells of their divine arrangement. They do not merely say, "I am protected." They become the protection because they summon an internal stance, a vibrational field that alters how reality responds to you. This is not magic in the fantastical sense. It is energetic mechanics cloaked in poetic disguise. Think of your energy field as a deep, expansive ocean. Every thought, every word, every intention you emit becomes a ripple. Now imagine that same ocean constantly intersecting with other oceans, those of co-workers, strangers, family members, collective narratives. Not all of these waters are clean. Some carry oil slicks of fear, fragments of trauma, whirlpools of anxiety. To navigate these waters without shielding your energy is to dive in without a suit, exposing your essence to cross-contamination. And here lies the quiet tragedy. Many people live their entire lives never realizing that what they're carrying isn't theirs. Emotions that feel real, that shape decisions, relationships, even destinies, when traced back, often belong to others. They are emotional ghosts, vibrational shadows passed like invisible heirlooms. To live unshielded is to mistake every whisper in the wind as your own voice. Affirmations, however, create a boundary, not a wall of steel, but a membrane of light, one that allows in truth and beauty while keeping distortion and deception at bay. But why affirmations? Why words? Because words are ancient technology. In the beginning was the word, not as metaphor but as structure. The uttered word is the bridge between the formless and the formed. When you speak an affirmation like "I radiate peace and deflect all harm," you are not merely describing a wish. You are pressing an energetic stamp into the fabric of the present moment. The body hears it, the energy field realigns, and the universe, like an old friend, nods in recognition. Affirmations work best when they are felt, not mouthed robotically, but declared with reverence, as though you are speaking directly to your soul. Because, in truth, you are. When you say, "I am surrounded by divine protection," you aren't inventing a shield, you are remembering one. You are activating what was always there, dormant under layers of forgetfulness and distraction. In our age of information overload, distraction has become a spiritual illness. We are bombarded with stimuli designed to lower our vibration, news drenched in fear, entertainment soaked in cynicism, conversations that echo scarcity. In such an environment, shielding your energy is not optional. It is spiritual hygiene. It is the difference between living in your truth and being colonized by others' distortions. And so this exploration is not just about feeling better or escaping negativity. It is about sovereignty, about reclaiming your energetic birthright, about becoming a lighthouse rather than a sponge, a transmitter rather than a receiver of every wandering signal. You are more than your reactions. You are more than the emotions that pass through. You are the space in which they occur. And through conscious affirmations, you can reclaim that space. You can program your field with intention, love, strength, and clarity. You can walk through chaos and remain calm. You can be in the world, but not of its confusion. This is not a fantasy. It is a practice. And the more you engage with it, the more real it becomes. In the sections to come, we will journey deeper, unpacking the spiritual mechanics behind affirmations, unveiling the ancient truths hidden beneath their simplicity, and anchoring these ideas into your daily life in ways both mystical and practical. But for now, pause, take a breath, and know this: your energy is sacred, your light is worthy of protection, and you hold the keys. To shield one's energy is to recognize the invisible scaffolding that surrounds our being. Just as a house is not merely its walls and roof, but the unseen tension of nails, beams, and blueprints that hold it together, so too are we more than flesh and thought. We are structured by currents, subtle, spiraling forces that shape how we feel, think, and engage with the world. And the moment we become aware of this architecture, we begin to participate in its design rather than becoming accidental tenants. At the core of this exploration is a profound realization. Energy follows awareness. Where your attention goes, energy flows. It is not merely a platitude, it is law. When we live unconsciously, our attention is scattered across the noise of the world, pulled like debris in a flood. But when we speak an affirmation, clearly with conviction, we reclaim that attention. We focus the lens of awareness on a single truth, and in doing so, we stabilize our field. That is the first pillar in shielding one's energy, the sovereignty of attention. This principle, in many ways, mirrors the ancient spiritual teaching that the external world is a reflection of the internal state. What you accept within, you project without. What you declare within, you magnetize in your experience. The shield, then, is not something we hold up like a warrior on a battlefield. It is something we become. A field, a frequency, an atmosphere of intention. Affirmations are the tuning forks that bring this shield into resonance. Let's dwell for a moment in the metaphor of music. Imagine your energy body as a vast symphony. Each thought a note, each emotion a chord. When your thoughts are dissonant, when your emotions are chaotic or borrowed from others, your song becomes distorted. You begin to vibrate in disharmony. Negativity, which itself is just another frequency, finds easy entrance through this confusion. But affirmations are harmonic reminders. They are tonal adjustments. They retune your instrument. When spoken daily, they recalibrate the entire composition of your being, aligning you with your chosen tone, not the one handed to you by society or circumstance. One of the great illusions of modern life is that we are fixed entities, unmoving, defined, limited. But in truth, we are lattices of light, constantly shifting, responding to stimuli, and forming new patterns. Our energy fields are pliable. They learn from repetition. This is why affirmations must not only be spoken, but lived. The universe does not respond merely to what we say, it responds to what we are. And affirmations, when practiced consistently, shift who we are at the vibrational level. Another theme arises here. Negativity is not always what it seems. Most people think of negativity as anger, fear, envy, or hostility from others. But often, negativity appears as subtlety, a lingering self-doubt, a tension in the shoulders, a fatigue that has no name. These are the fingerprints of unspoken energies, internalized judgments, psychic debris, ancestral patterns. Shielding your energy with affirmations is not a superficial fix. It is a form of deep energetic surgery. You are not painting over wounds, you are rewiring the current that feeds them. Consider this. Every thought you think is a seed. Some sprout instantly, some lie dormant for days, even years. Affirmations plant seeds of sovereignty. I am grounded and immune to the fear around me. I radiate calm in the storm. These aren't just phrases. They are blueprints that override the coding of fear, anxiety, or shame. And over time, with the sacred discipline of repetition, these seeds blossom into inner states. Affirmations become not just what you say, but who you are. There's a deeper truth here, one not often spoken in casual spiritual circles. We are not just energy, we are energy bound to meaning. Language shapes our perception of reality. Words are the vessels that hold our beliefs. The words you choose determine the boundaries of your inner kingdom. If you habitually affirm your power, your worth, your protection, you are literally redrawing the borders of your soul's territory. You become a sovereign realm rather than an open plain. But let us not mistake this practice as a kind of magical thinking, detached from the challenges of life. Shielding your energy with affirmations does not mean you will never encounter pain or darkness. It means that when you do, you will not dissolve into it. You will carry a torch through it. And more importantly, you will not absorb what is not yours to hold. This brings us to a key concept: energetic discernment. Affirmations awaken your inner compass. They teach your system to differentiate between what resonates and what contaminates. Think of it as developing a spiritual immune system. The more you affirm clarity, peace, truth, the faster your system recognizes discord. You begin to feel it as soon as it enters your field, like a drop of ink in clear water. And because you are conscious, you do not cling to it. You transmute it or release it. There is immense power in this kind of conscious living. It restores your sense of agency. It reminds you that no matter how dark the world becomes, you are not at its mercy. You are not a sponge, passively absorbing. You are a filter, a vessel of intention, a being encoded with light. To shield your energy is not to escape life. It is to meet life with grace. It is to walk through the world knowing you are anchored, knowing you are whole, knowing you have declared your sacred space. And so the practice begins with a whisper, a single phrase repeated in stillness, in truth. That phrase grows wings. It becomes your weather. It becomes your atmosphere. And then, without realizing, you are no longer reacting to life. You are creating it. Let us now step beyond the boundaries of explanation and into the terrain where truth often wears the garb of story. The symbolic landscape speaks in archetypes, in dreams, in images that pierce deeper than mere logic can reach. It is here, in the hidden chamber of the subconscious, where affirmations do their most sacred work. And to understand their power more completely, we must walk a while among the symbols. Imagine this first tale. A lone traveler journeys through a desert, scorched by sun and silence. She carries no map, only a mirror. She has been told that this mirror can protect her, though she does not yet understand how. Along her path, phantoms rise, shadows in the shape of doubt, figures cloaked in judgment, illusions hissing fear through cracked lips. The traveler trembles, but she does not strike them. Instead, she lifts the mirror, and each shadow that looks into it sees not her, but itself. Some dissolve at the sight, others flee, unable to bear their own reflection. This is the nature of a true affirmation. It does not fight the darkness, it reflects it back to its origin, revealing it as distortion. This mirror is the first symbol, the affirmation as a reflector. It does not need aggression, it requires clarity. When you speak, "I am whole, I am divine, I am untouchable by harm," the affirmation becomes a surface so polished that falsehood cannot find grip. Negativity is not always a brute force. More often, it is a sly suggestion. But like mist before the morning sun, suggestion cannot survive the heat of truth. An affirmation properly spoken does not shield you by blocking harm, but by illuminating it for what it is: a whisper with no source, a phantom wearing borrowed form. The second story is that of the storm. A great village sits at the base of a trembling mountain. Every year, a wind comes down that mountain, a howling wind that carries despair, confusion, rage. The villagers build stronger homes, reinforce their roofs, but still the wind gets in. One day, an old woman emerges. She is not strong in body, but her eyes are steady. She walks into the storm with only a candle in her hand. The villagers cry out to stop her, but she goes anyway. And as the storm rages, she stands still, speaking a phrase over and over: "I carry calm inside. I am the eye of the storm." The wind, for all its violence, begins to lose direction. It swirls around her, but does not enter. Others begin to join her, each with a candle, each repeating the words. The wind cannot understand. It rages harder, but finds nothing to grasp. And slowly it fades. Not defeated, but transformed. This is the affirmation as the eye of the storm. In the center of chaos, we find a silence that is not emptiness, but power. The world may swirl around you. News, noise, energies not your own, but when your affirmation is rooted, you become the stillness amid the surge. I remain centered in my truth. No external energy can disturb my peace. These are not shields of steel, but declarations of sovereignty. The storm has no place to anchor when it finds no turbulence within. The final story is of the cloak. In a forest beyond time, a young boy discovers an ancient tapestry woven from moonlight and song. When he wraps it around his shoulders, he hears every word ever spoken with love. He hears the lullabies of mothers, the hymns of monks, the chants of warriors calling on peace. This cloak, he learns, is spun from affirmations long spoken and still echoing in the ether. It does not make him invisible. It makes him unmistakably luminous. The creatures of shadow see his light and bow, not out of fear, but reverence. For he carries remembrance, and remembrance is the greatest power of all. This cloak is your inheritance. Every time you speak an affirmation rooted in your soul's truth, you add a thread to this luminous garment. I walk in divine light. My soul remembers its purpose. Every cell in me vibrates with sacred knowing. These are not mere comforts. They are ancestral fire, passed down through tongue and breath, Each repetition is a stitch, each word a weaving. Affirmations, in their symbolic essence, are instruments of return. They do not change what you are, they reveal what you forgot. You are not fabricating protection, you are activating an old agreement. A spiritual contract signed in the quiet before birth, written in the ink of stars. The mirror teaches us reflection without fear. The storm reveals the stillness already within. The cloak reminds us that light is not a future reward, but a memory blooming in the present. And so, these narratives are not merely tales, they are maps. And affirmations are the trail markers carved in the bark of your spirit. They remind you, as all sacred language does, that you are not alone in your walk. That every time you affirm your energy, you affirm a lineage. You join the timeless choir of souls who stood up and declared, "I choose to protect what is sacred within me." For what is shielding your energy if not a reclamation of the holy? What is an affirmation if not the original tongue of angels speaking through your lips? So speak. Speak even when the world whispers against you. Speak until your voice becomes a resonance that cannot be dimmed. It is one thing to speak of mirrors and cloaks and ancient winds. It is another to walk into your Monday morning meeting drained before the second email. The world of metaphor and the world of traffic lights, deadlines and heartbreak often seem far apart. But in truth, they exist in layers atop one another, threads of one great tapestry. And it is here, in the weaving, that we must learn to live our affirmations, not as isolated spells, but as a way of being. To shield your energy is not to withdraw from the world. It is to walk through it with sacred discipline. This discipline does not require robes or rituals, though those can be beautiful expressions. It requires something more subtle and constant, a return to yourself, again and again, in the middle of life's distractions. Imagine your day as a hallway lined with doors. Every interaction, every task, every thought is a doorway through which energy can enter or exit. You decide which doors stay open, you decide which close. The first doorway is the morning. How you greet it matters more than most suspect. If your first thought upon waking is dread, complaint, or anxiety, you have already set your field to receive the same. But imagine waking with a whisper. Today, I walk in calm strength. No energy but love may enter here. That simple act is not naive optimism, it is coding. Like software, the morning affirmation reprograms the platform upon which your day will run. And it need not be loud. In fact, the most potent affirmations are often the quietest ones, the ones spoken in your mind in a moment of tension. Your phone buzzes with chaotic news. You pause, hand on heart. I choose peace. I choose focus. I choose truth. Someone unloads their anger on you at work. Instead of internalizing it, you gently exhale and affirm, their energy is not mine. I remain grounded in my center. These moments accumulate. Each one is a brick in the foundation of your shield. And over time, you find that you do not need to defend yourself so much as resonate differently. Your frequency begins to repel what once overwhelmed you. Not out of coldness, but clarity. You begin to walk through the world like a lighthouse, bright, still, and unshakable, while others flail in the waves. Consider your digital world too. The online landscape is a buffet of psychic contamination, scrolling past suffering, argument, vanity, manipulation. You cannot always control what appears, but you can control how you receive it. Before entering these spaces, pause, breathe, affirm. I engage only with energy that uplifts, informs, or brings peace. And when you leave, speak again. I release all energy that is not mine. I return to my truth. These are not empty phrases. They are cleansing rituals for the modern age, as potent as smoke and song once were. The workplace is another realm where energetic shielding is essential. Offices, meetings, even remote calls all carry invisible exchanges. The gaze of a jealous co-worker, the unspoken stress of a team leader, the quiet self-doubt that ripples through a deadline, these affect your field whether you acknowledge them or not. But again, you are not defenseless. You are sovereign. And every affirmation you speak is an act of spiritual boundary making. I am aligned with clarity and focus. I do not absorb stress. I transmute it into calm action. When said consistently, these words don't just change how you feel. They change how others engage with you. Energy, after all, is relational. When you rise, others adjust. Then there are relationships, friendships, family, love. These are the deepest wells, and sometimes the deepest drains. Affirmations can act like roots here, not to push people away, but to anchor you so that you are not uprooted by their storms. In a difficult conversation, an internal affirmation like, "I listen with compassion, but I do not lose myself," can prevent you from spiraling into patterns of people-pleasing or reactivity. When someone is in pain and you want to help without drowning, you might affirm, "I hold space without absorbing pain. I am a vessel, not a sponge." This is not cold detachment. It is divine neutrality. It is love with boundaries. Perhaps most importantly, affirmations teach us how to navigate our own inner shadows. Not all negativity comes from others. Much of it arises from our own mind, conditioned beliefs, old wounds, stories of unworthiness. Here too, affirmations are not platitudes, but counterspells. I am not my past. I am the breath between stories. I forgive myself. I begin again in this moment. These are not meant to override your feelings, but to carve a path through them, to walk hand in hand with healing. Over time, the line between practical life and spiritual practice dissolves. They become one. And your shield, once imagined as armor, becomes more like atmosphere. It surrounds you not with hardness, but with coherence. It does not isolate you, it clarifies you. You become someone others feel safe around, not because you take on their pain, but because you don't. Your clarity becomes permission. Your peace becomes contagious. And in those quiet moments, driving in traffic, sipping coffee, pausing before sleep, your inner voice returns, like a companion who never left. I am held. I am sovereign. I am light in motion. This is the great integration. Not grand gestures or retreat centers, just sacred words spoken in ordinary moments that slowly, steadily make your life extraordinary. And now we arrive at the threshold, the place where reflection ripens into transformation, where theory becomes embodiment. You have wandered with me through metaphors and meanings, through cloaks of light and storms of shadow. You've glimpsed the energetic scaffolding of your inner world, and perhaps, if your heart has been soft enough to receive it, you've begun to remember something ancient, something true, that you are not a passive receiver of life. You are a resonator, a conductor, a living prayer wrapped in flesh and possibility. Affirmations are not merely words, they are acts of remembering. And to remember your power is to recover your center in a world designed to scatter it. To shield your energy is not to build a wall, but to tend to the sacred flame within. That flame, your light, your consciousness, your truth, is not fragile. It does not need to be hidden away. It simply needs attention, intention, and practice. You do not guard it by closing off the world. You guard it by being fully present in it, so that no lie, no shadow, no noise from the external realm can hijack your direction. And so we return to the question, why affirmations? Because affirmations remind the universe of how you wish to be recognized. They are the coded frequency by which your inner and outer worlds begin to realign. When you affirm, "I am grounded," the ground becomes aware of you. When you affirm, "I am light," the darkness cannot enter unnoticed. When you affirm, "I am love," even chaos pauses for a moment of awe. These phrases, repeated with presence, become your shield, not because they hide you, but because they awaken your unshakable nature. Let me tell you something not often said. The world does not benefit from your openness alone. It benefits from your discernment. The empath without a shield becomes a martyr. The light worker without boundaries becomes a dim bulb flickering in exhaustion. To shield your energy is to stop leaking your essence into everyone else's wounds. It is to stop pouring your sacred water into every cracked and bottomless vessel. You are not here to save everyone. You are here to remember your truth so clearly that others are reminded of theirs. And here is where the shield becomes something more. In the beginning, you use affirmations to protect, but in time, those same affirmations awaken something else, a fire. The shield is no longer about defense, it becomes radiance. You walk into a space and it softens, not because you've dimmed yourself, but because you've become sovereign in your light. You've become one who no longer absorbs chaos, but who transforms the environment through presence alone. This is the evolution from shield to beacon, and it happens quietly. Through mornings when you whisper your truth before touching your phone, through moments when you choose breath over reaction, through inner declarations whispered in the parking lot, at the dinner table, in the heat of conflict. Each time you're weaving. Each time your light grows stronger, not louder, just truer. The old paradigms taught us to either collapse into others or push them away. But there is a third way, the way of the awakened shield. The shield that does not isolate but clarifies, that does not wound but protects, that does not hide but reveals. And that shield begins with you, with your word, with your willingness to speak to the invisible and know it listens. So here is your final invitation, not a conclusion, but a beginning. Each day, choose one phrase. Speak it with reverence, not repetition. Let it settle into your breath, your bones, your field. Make it your ritual. I am whole. Only peace may dwell within me. I radiate clarity, and confusion cannot find a home here. Feel which one calls to you, or create your own. Let it arise not from who you were, but from who you are becoming. Let this affirmation become your first gesture of the day and your last whisper before sleep. Let it shape your conversations, your posture, your presence. Let it shield you, not from life, but for the life that awaits when you are truly aligned, truly present, truly powerful. You are not weak for needing protection. You are wise for recognizing it, and you are sovereign for choosing to create it consciously. You are the mirror. You are the eye in the storm. You are the cloak woven from luminous threads of your own remembrance. You are the shield and the flame it protects. So speak, not to escape the world, but to bless it with your clarity, not to deny the shadows, but to walk through them as one who knows the way back to the light. Your affirmation is not just a tool, it is your truth in motion. Let it guide you, let it guard you, let it ignite you. And now, go become what you were always meant to be.